This part of the book is a special moment when I really started to open up to a new way of thinking, and I wanted to share it. Songs in A minor improved my financial picture, but it didn't significantly change how I handled my money. Every ka-ching triggered in me a long-held fear, followed by a question: if all of this suddenly goes away, have I saved enough to be okay? I'd seen how quickly circumstances could shift, as fast as they once had when my mother lost her father and the family's breadwinner. And I was determined not to end up as the penniless bag lady, the former star whose downward spiral left her in dire financial straits. So in the early days of my career, I was very, very careful with cash. And when I did buy something for myself, I never went for flashy. In place of $5,000 designer boots or Bentleys, I opted for white t-shirts and Timbs I could get cheap on 125th Street. I'll never forget the first time I went to Bergdorf Goodman, the luxury department store on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. Erica, my childhood friend who later worked on my team as my day-to-day manager, was with me. Following the album and tour, I just received my first major check. I deposited it and didn't touch it for weeks. "You should go shopping," Erica urged me. I reluctantly agreed. I mean, it can't hurt to look, I figured. And maybe it was time for a small indulgence. If you've ever roamed the aisles of Bergdorf's, then you understand how forcefully desire can grab you by the throat. You quickly go from swearing you don't need a single thing to lusting after designer sneakers you hadn't even known existed before the moment you spotted them. Within a half an hour in the store, I picked out a pair of shoes, a leather jacket, a scarf, and a killer belt. When the lady at the counter announced the total, "That will be $3,482, she said without blinking. I looked blankly at her. "I'm putting all this back," I whispered to Erica as I scooped up the items and left the register. "This is ridiculous," I said. "I can't pay this much." "Come on," Erica pressed. "You should do something nice for yourself for once." I stared at her but didn't respond. "Do you love these?" she asked, picking up the sneakers I just propped back up onto their display stand. I nodded. "Well, if you really love them," she went on, "you should buy them. It's time to celebrate a little." I ultimately bought 2 of the 5 items, the high-top sneakers and the leather jacket, and for days after the purchase, I was in turmoil. Not just because I'd spent over $1,000, an insane amount in my view, but also because I should have gotten a belt. Months later, when I went back for it, the item had been discontinued. Erica wasn't pushing me to live beyond my means. Rather, she was nudging me toward a different mindset, a mentality that was foreign to me. I'd grown up in a survival mode, clutching tightly to every dollar that came my way. And when you spend from a belief that every cent you earn will be your last, you operate from a place of scarcity, a context that runs counter to the energy of abundance. Money, like all life, is an energy exchange. You give yourself over to whatever you're passionate about, and what comes back to you is energy in the form of monetary compensation. You attract more or less of what you want by how you choose to interact with it, as well as what you believe about yourself. Do you truly feel you deserve what you're asking for? Are you worth it? How you answer impacts what comes your way. What you focus on expands. If you focus on the goodness in your life, you create more of it. And if you live with an open palm rather than a closed fist, you leave room for immeasurable blessings to flow through your hands. It was one of the strongest lessons ever passed on to me in the classroom my life was becoming. So that's kind of long, but I had to give you the whole context or else you wouldn't have understood where I was coming from and where it led me to. But I thought this was interesting, and this is a super deep conversation and something that I personally struggled with for a long time. And this idea of, so no, are you supposed to go out and spend your entire paycheck and you know, like not be smart and not plan and make sure that you're covered and your family's covered? Of course, no. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying some crazy thing like that. But what I did learn at this time was that there is a perspective that you can have, especially as it comes to finances. Because I think a lot of us often have come from very humble beginnings, and we haven't really been taught a lot about finances. We haven't been taught about money management. We haven't been taught about money at all. And in fact, a lot of times, we're figuring it out as we go. And if we do happen to be able to be successful or start to see success, a lot of times we don't even know what to do with that or with our money. And I thought this was really, really a powerful lesson in regards to looking at things from the space of scarcity versus abundance. And that even that small mind shift in your mind, knowing that you are capable, that you are able, that you are deserving, that you are creative, that you do have it inside of you to create what you want to create, and for it to go well for you, and for you to be able to build a life around it, which so many of us feel like that'll never happen. I'll never be able to make my dreams come true. I'll never be able to become, your parents tell you, you'll never be a doctor, you'll never be a surgeon, you'll never be a successful lawyer. It's hard. So many times we think we can't do it. And so I loved this moment where I realized that I could see how, because I'd come from that place, and I looked at things sometimes from this fear that I would never have it again, or finances would not come my way, or if I did get something at one time, it would never come again, that I was blocking my blessings. And so I just wanted to bring that up to us to consider, to contemplate, and to think from a place of abundance, and to think from a place of knowing that you are capable to create whatever it is that you imagine. So many of us have this moment to take, to think, to reflect, to decide, what is it that we want to start to implement in our lives? What have we been missing? What boundaries do we need to put in place? What changes do we need to make, and how do we find the bravery to actually continue doing it and continuing honoring ourselves? For me, that still remains really, really hard, even right now, being home with the kids and helping with the homeschooling and helping to make sure bedtime is good and everything with the daytime, and having a 5-year-old and then a 9-year-old and then a 13-year-old, and it's like all over the place. Every hour it's like something going on. When will I find time to practice? When will I find time to write? When will I find time to read? When will I find time to sleep? So just continuing, I'm even thinking now and thinking, how do I want to keep showing up for myself and creating boundaries that I need so that I can be a stronger human, a better mom, a better artist, a better Alicia, So I just want to leave you with that and have you think a little bit about what might you want to do and what boundaries you might need to set, and don't feel bad about setting them and about sticking to them and creating a time for you and telling everybody, this is what I need to be happy and healthy and to be myself. So good luck, because I know sometimes it's tricky to put that in and to find the strength to keep it in. But I wanted to remind us both, we can do it.